I remember being in therapy with my first therapist and coming back from a date. I had had a date and coming back, and I didn't even bring it up in therapy. And my therapist asks, and these are always the way I recall facts, so I might be wrong, but this is what I'm recalling. Um, but he was saying, "Oh, how was the date?" Because I had been excited about it, and I felt like it was a healthy kind of date, and not just like one of those things that were a product of my hypomania or manic states. And I was talking about something else, and then I said, "Oh, well, he's a dog. He raped me." But then I went back to whatever we were talking about. And my therapist was like, well, what? But that's exactly how I reported it. And to be honest, that's how I still feel about it. And hopefully, even just through some of these monologues and more intensive work into therapy, I can find where that trauma is and connect to it, even if it's not that specific trauma, because like I said, I've had multiple traumas. So for me, the reason I started with that one is because earlier in the week, I was riding my bike, and I I'm a very cautious rider. You cannot miss me. I follow the rules. I wear a vest. I wear a helmet. And I follow all the rules of biking, driving, pedestrian, unless I'm purposely jaywalking. Don't judge. So I got hit by a taxi on purpose. It was a very slow process where he purposely was forcing me out the lane, and I knew what he was doing. And I'm one of those people who have the fight mode response when it comes to um, a hard situation, whether it's like whatever, like if it's a traumatic situation, anything, you people either fight, flight, flop, or flee, which are the animal instincts in us. And for me, I have a very fight instinct. And so I fought him pushing me out the lane. And even as my bike and the taxi are connecting, I'm still fighting this process. And I'm even hitting his car window and the hood, like yelling, really? And whereas some people, honestly, reaction would have been completely different. And that's not to say that my reaction was right or wrong. It just is what it is. And from that, I had pretty much a whiplash effect. And I got hit. I went, put the bike up, went to an event I was on my way to. And then I passed by one of my first professors that I had for my Master's of Public Health class. And I told him, he's like, how's it going? And I told him, well, I just got hit by a taxi on a bike. And people's reactions are like, what? And so although for me, it's like, I'm not bruised, I'm not this. So I just don't know how to glamorize those kind of events. But it made me think, even the way I just even reported it on, like to my friends on email, Facebook, to family. For me, it just was a thing. And it reminded me, when I started thinking about it, it reminded me of being raped and not having a reaction to that almost the same as being hit by a taxi. Same reaction. And maybe these are two extremes that it's kind of hard to connect. So I would say that finding my friend dead in my apartment, again, very well to mask off until I'm in a setting of support. That one was a little harder, so I'm going to keep that out of the equation right now. But being raped, being hit by a bike, receiving bad customer service, I'm going to have my reaction will be more in line with bad customer service than experiencing these traumatic events. Um, and the reason that I want to take my mask off are twofold. I want to release the weight of trauma that is on me and that I continue to carry. And I'm seeing how things like that have played a part in just even my relationship with food. Food is my security and has been, but I've been flipping that verse. And others, I want to help others understand. I'm not sure what I want others to understand, but people tell me that when I share, I'm motivational and I'm inspirational. And I feel like I'm cheating people by being so masked and barriered into having a protective barrier between the traumatic events. So for me, I brought a scarf just in case I started crying, and crying is great. It tells you something's important, and it also just releases things. But for me, I was raped. It wasn't my first sexual assault. It probably was maybe the 20th. But it was my first as an adult. And I don't even know if the 20th, because I don't know how many times as a child that happened. But I never could relate to anyone when I'd sit in trauma groups and people were talking about being raped. I just had such a walled off. I had a walled off dissociation with it, that internally I was rolling my eyes, judging, like, why is this bothering you? Let's talk about presently, like, whatever's going on today. I was raped. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to need to join or rejoin. I've been in them, but I'm not going to pretend I need to go and join a trauma group based on this. I have good coverage and therapy and friends, and I know how to get extra help if I need it. It happened on a date. It was bad. I fought my way out of it. And I'm not saying that that's right for everybody. It's not like I could think and say, submit so you won't get hurt. Whatever your reaction is, surviving is the most important part. Please don't take this as I didn't fight, so no, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying I was raped. And I've never grieved over it. I've never felt it. It was scary. It hurt me. It reinforced self-limiting beliefs. that I was there for people to use me in whatever way they could. I didn't expect to cry today. I'm okay with that. I didn't expect to be able to really take a mask off. I don't know what that means for me, taking this mask off. But it feels good because I feel lighter. I already feel lighter. It's almost like there was a suction. I'm thinking of a million jokes, and I'm not gonna disrespect myself by saying any. I'm not gonna step away from this. I'm just gonna be right here in the moment with this. Those are strong words. I was raped. My mind is telling me I should apologize and feel ashamed of all the eye rolling when other people were sharing that. I'm not gonna go down there either. Because that's an avoidance of just sitting here. That's a mask, the mask trying to come back on. I don't even know what to call this. I'll call it something. I'll figure that out later. Just remind myself that, Melinda, you didn't deserve it. No one has a right to violate you. No one has a right to violate me. No one has a right to hurt me. And I wasn't put on this earth to be used up and chewed up by others for their pleasure. I was put on this earth to be a force of love. And I've been working through with a couple inspirational people like Kelsey's and Renee Stevens, Doc Renee, and some of the work that I was doing for myself with the Kelsey's program. So just say what you feel and where do you feel it. I feel sadness, and I feel it here. I feel it in my chest, and I feel it in my throat. I feel it in my face. Okay. I feel lighter. I feel lighter, and I feel it in my stomach. I feel it. I feel it here, the bottom of my throat. And I feel it in my eyes. I feel lighter. I feel vulnerable. feel that here. I don't know why, but I feel it in my chin, in my mouth. I feel vulnerable. I feel self-love. I feel self-love. And I feel that like a heat beam radiating through my body. That's what I feel. Thank you for this space.